Hello, good afternoon. This is Braden here for my muscle identification exam, and here I have Jacob as my client model. So we're going to be looking at 5 different muscles today. The first one is splenius capitis, and the action of splenius capitis is to unilaterally rotate the head and neck to the same side. And it also bilaterally extends the head and neck. So the origin for the splenius capitis is the inferior one half of the ligamentum nuchae and the spinous processes of C7, so C7 through T4. And the insertion is the mastoid process and the lateral portion of the superior nuchal line, and then so the muscle fibers run that direction. The second muscle that we're looking at is the splenius cervicis, and the action for this is the same as the splenius capitis, so it laterally flexes the head and neck to the same side, and it bilaterally extends the head and neck. And the origin for this is the spinous processes of T3 through T6. And the insertion for this are the TVPs, or the transverse processes, of C1 through C3. So again, the muscle fibers run that direction. The third muscle we're looking at is the quadratus lumborum, and the QL, it laterally tilts or elevates the pelvis, so it lifts or elevates the pelvis upward, and it also laterally flexes the vertebral column to the same side. The origin is the posterior iliac crest, and the insertion is the last, or the 12th rib, and then the TVPs of the 1st through 4th lumbar vertebrae, and the muscle fibers run this direction, that direction. Okay. The next one, the 4th one, is the serratus posterior superior. And this muscle elevates the ribs during inhalation. The origin for this is the spinous processes of C7 through T3, and then the insertion for this is the posterior surface of the 2nd through 5th ribs. So yeah, like the posterior surfaces of 2nd through 5th, so down here. So the muscle fibers run this direction. And then the last muscle that we're working with is the serratus posterior inferior, and this muscle depresses the ribs during exhalation. So the origin for this muscle are the spinous processes of T12 through L3, and the insertion for this muscle is the posterior surface of the 9th through 12th ribs, so up this direction, which means that the muscle fibers run this way. Okay, so those are all the muscles that I have. Thank you for joining me, and have a great weekend.